And Eric, the attraction is exactly what you're talking about with the program, the apprenticeships, the people. Those are the things specifically for me, but I know a lot like me. That's what we want. That's what we miss. That's what we know we're going to miss. Ready.
All right, everybody, welcome to Make Trades Great Again podcast. I'm super excited today, Andy, because we have a guest, and this is a different conversation we normally are having. I've already learned a lot before we even got started. Should we get into it?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
All right, guys. Hey, Josh Ebert, welcome to the Make Trades Great Again podcast.
Thanks for having me. Good to be on with y'all.
It is really cool. I'm super excited, like I said. Hey, everybody, we're going to bring you up to speed. So Josh is in the military. He's about ready to retire. And he sent me a message on Instagram the other day. And see, it works. I tell you all the time, send us messages, give us feedback, all that kind of crap. And this one was really cool. And it excited me. And Andy made it happen. You got him on here right away, Andy, and I appreciate that. So I'm going to read the message real quick. Not to embarrass you guys or Josh, or listen up. Here it is.
Not at all.
All right. He says, hey, my name is Josh, and I'm currently getting ready to transition out of the military after 20 years of service. Thank you, Josh. And found interest in the trades and found you and Andy's podcast. He listens daily now. Thank you. He had a question. And this is the whole episode right here. You ready, guys? So he says, I am 41, still take care of myself physically and love working with my hands and being active. I'm considered too old. Am I considered too old to do this work? Struggling with my post-military career transition and have always appreciated trade work, being in fire suppression and plumbing in the Navy. Just wondering how I'd fit into the outside world. I tell you what, this is already opened my eyes with the short, brief conversation we had before we hit record. What are you thinking in your head right now, Andy? And why was it? I mean, you jumped at the idea of getting
it. This is one of those things that over the years, I mean, I've been the JATC chairman here at our local for the last 3 years or 2 years anyway, 2.5. And been involved in that program for 27 years. Right?
JATC, for anybody that isn't familiar with union lingo, that's Journeyman Apprentice Training Committee, right?
Yep. Okay. Yeah, joint apprenticeship training.
Joint apprenticeship training.
Yep. So we handle basically admission of all things apprenticeship, right? Admission, management, logistics on that end. Over the years, we get these candidates, and I don't know where they came from, but I'm like, all right, these guys are, former military, of some variant, and I don't know why they're here. And it wasn't until Josh said his message that I was like, this might be a really cool conversation. I did a little bit of looking before I reached out to, I should probably know what this VIP program is. I should probably know a little bit more about how hard hats to helmets. And I see these candidates and everybody that we've placed. Pete is one of them that was an apprentice when I was an instructor, 10, 12 years ago. I think it was pre-VIP program. He was a hard hats to helmets guy, but I've always enjoyed working with Pete. I'm like, well, why not? And I think Pete came out of the Marines, if I recall. That's been too long ago. Anyway. Regardless, it was one of those, it just popped up and was like this. I think people would enjoy listening or hearing the story and like we'd talk with Josh, if we can get, have a handful of people, even if it's one or two, be more comfortable about the process, then, hey, you know what, we've kind of done our job at this point, to raise a little awareness about it. So Josh, again, thank you for your service, and thanks for reaching out with the message, because I think we're got a good direction here.
Yeah, Josh, you sent your message. You're retiring after 20 years in the Navy.
Yeah. It's going to be almost 21 years by the time it's all said and done. Like I said, God, it's surreal being on with y'all, because I've been listening for a little bit now. And it gave me the thought, after listening a little bit and having friends that are looking to transition in this world. And I said, you know what? I was like, I think these guys will have something to offer. I was like, I'm going to shoot a message, not thinking we were leading to this. And I was like, any kind of information, a message, resources, anything to
Yeah.
help this community be able to get back into the world, and especially in this world, which I hold near and dear to my heart. That as much as anybody says thanks me for my service, that's how I look at people like you.
Oh, wow.
Right. Well, I
And
appreciate that.
and I want people in trades to know that. I mean, America's not America without you. Like,
It's,
they look at
the
us for
trade.
defending it. Well, what do we defend? We defend the stuff that y'all make vertical.
we
Yeah.
we work in an industry, at least in one way or another, somebody in the construction industry, whether you're doing service or in construction, whatever you're doing, like it's a unique community, right? And there's a lot of people around you working the trades, and like some people just aren't able to bring that into their community and talk to people about it. And it's cool. And that's kind of one of the reasons why I like to do the podcast, because it's interesting to me. But I mean, amazing. That's so kind of you to say, but we're really happy to have you. After 20 years in service like this with the Navy, yourself and your friends, I gotta imagine it's a huge adjustment to think like this is going to end and I'm going to have to do something completely different. And can you just describe that? Cause like, that's really the impetus behind your message and what you're
Yep.
looking, like what's in front of you right now is
Right.
that adjustment period. I'm sure you have the confidence that you can get a job. Like there's
Yeah.
you're employable, but you're looking into the trades, and
Yeah.
just give us that rundown on that.
So, in a nutshell, the way to think about those of us that are getting ready to leave this is, you ever ask a 5-year-old what they want to be when they grow up? Well, believe it or not, us 39, 40 plus year old men, we signed on a dotted line. No interview, no resume, no application. Somebody sits you down, you fill something out, sign on a dotted line, and you ship off to boot camp to do a job for however long you want to do it. And in my case and others like me, hey, there's 20 plus years you've been told to do this, and that's what you do. So now, getting the freedom, you want to call it that, which it is, but it's also a scary fact, because when you've been doing something that you've been told to do, and now it's okay, it's your decision. What do you want? You get hit almost with a fear of, what am I supposed to do? And it's that institutionalized thought that unfortunately some of us develop. I'm not going to say everybody does, but I feel like the people that I've talked to, the longer they're in, the more they have it.
The
And
harder
so,
that transition is,
yeah.
and just
Well, and now you
even
got,
mentally.
yeah, and now you got to find what we call the why. What's your why? What is it that
Yep.
you want? What is it that you want to contribute? What do you envision every day when you walk out that door?
Yep.
That's interesting. I never thought about it. Sorry, Andy, go ahead.
Yeah. No, I was going to say, I've had this, a similar conversation with apprentices in the past, of like, I guess sharing the reason why I've stuck with it for 27 years, similar on your side, little, I guess similar, kind of very minor, similar to your service, is, I truly enjoyed it. I enjoyed going out and working with my hands. I mean, and doing and putting things together and having an end product that was, something I could be proud of. And so I think that that's something that is going to drive, people like yourself as well. You mentioned it in your message. I like working with my hands. You're clearly not a lone wolf out there, and coming out of the service. It's generally not a, usually it's a teamwork environment.
Yeah.
So a lot of your, where if you go into the piping trades, that's a lot of what you're going to be coming into. In many, unless you're in a small shop or a small area like where I'm at, the apprenticeship classes are going to be fairly large. You're likely going to be on a job where you're not the only apprentice. There could be possibilities where that's not the case, but Eric, I mean, when you were coming up in the cities, how many guys were at that shop that you were working on?
I worked at a big company, residential construction and a little bit of service, and then did a little tiny bit of commercial work. And so you had a mix of different people with different backgrounds. I actually had an apprentice that worked under me that was like 40 years old. Changing careers, worked in just kind of like factory work for years and years. So I thought I understood then what it meant to like reset. We talked about this kind of topic, that particular topic, not coming out of the military, not making this like incredible change to literally like how you wake up in the morning. This guy was just like in a dead end job for 25 years and was like, I got to change something. I'm not going to do this forever. But, yeah, I had apprentices of all ages, but not typical. This isn't less typical, right? Somebody that's in their late 30s or 40s and deciding like, whoop, got to start something now. And it's, sink or swim, which is really where you're at, right? So like, but even with your background and going into these decisions, is it coming to your thought process at all that like, I don't know your situation, but I would imagine like, are you in a position at all, without sharing details? Like, are you in a position at all where like you can get some like maybe part-time work, or if you try something and it's not what you like it's not like you have to stick with it because, like it's the only, you can't fall back on some savings or anything like that. Like I got to imagine like if you can find something that's going to pay your bills for a little bit, like it gives you an opportunity to start out and try something new. Is that a reality for most people in your situation?
In my kind of situation, people retiring, yes. In an aspect, yes, because with what comes with retirement pay. So you do have that little bit of income to kind of lean back on. You can get by, but doing the thing such as like what you're saying, like I'm gonna try this out. Most of the people that can do that and they're not worried about it, and it's no fault of anybody's, it's just their situation. Everybody's got their own situation.
Sure.
Single people.
Yeah.
People that
absolutely. That makes sense.
People that don't have people relying on them.
Yeah.
Myself, I am not one of those single people. The home, and I'm not going to lie, sending that message to you, borderline.
It's scary.
It wasn't scary to send it. It was relieving to send it because.
Good.
So how I told you people, reach out for me for help. That was my hand to you all for help. Because
I guess I should.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, I interrupted.
I was under high anxiety sitting there thinking about it because I'm thinking about all these aspects and all these avenues that I'm trying to navigate. And meanwhile, looking at 3 other people, walking around the house like that, I got to take care of it. I got to make sure that this is taken care of.
Yeah. So what I mean, I after talking with you now just a little bit and prior to hitting record here on the podcast and reading your message, it really, I think I missed the boat there just a second ago. I was thinking about just like, trying it out, see if you like something, but that's not the issue here. Like you'll be able to do a job probably no matter the job. Yeah. It's the unknown for you at this point in your adult life that you've removed yourself from having to just, do other than, I mean, I don't want this to come out the wrong way. I don't mean it to be disrespectful, but like you've been put into a position where like you've lived your life knowing what's next as far as like, this is the regimen. This is very,
100%.
Very planned out. This is, don't expect too much to change. Mm-hmm. Like this is, of course, I'm sure there's immense irregularities with, deployments and things like, don't get me wrong. I have no idea what that world is like. So I don't want to say too much because I'm just going to say the wrong thing. But I can wrap my mind around the idea that this is so new to you and scary. I mean, if I were to be asked for any kind of like encouragement, like things that were going through my head when we started talking about this at all were like, you know, I think of my experience with the trades and I see people around me having now I've been doing it long enough. Like that's how I'm so freaking old. I've been doing it long enough to where I've seen apprentices that either worked under me or were working in the, you know, starting out. And I'm not talking 25 years ago. I'm talking, that's how long I've been doing it. I'm talking about like I've seen apprentices mature, like become licensed plumbers or HVAC or whatever it is, like go through the program, become like just really great at their job, and likely enjoy it. And to me, I was never thinking about like how this is, you know, at any given point in time, how this was like somebody having to navigate through this process. It was so automatic for me once I got into the trades when I started my plumbing apprenticeship. Like the apprenticeship program, if you're going through like a formalized apprenticeship program, almost has like a regiment to it. Like it's not at all like the you know, armed forces, but like literally like it's planned out for you. Right. Like, you know, you're going to have these classes to go to for night school, and you know that how long each segment of your apprenticeship is. Like they kind of tell you all that. And like, so at least there's some familiarity there, like going into it, and you're not like super in the dark. But if you've never done the work, like when I started, I was young, so like I didn't really know what to expect. But Andy, I think you hit the nail on your head. Like people find out that they really like this, and it doesn't seem like it's so difficult to navigate, because if you can surround yourself, here's the key right here, by the way. I'm gonna open up this part of Pandora's box. If you can surround yourself with people that you are better than, like way smarter or better at the job. No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding. No, you know, I wonder if the trades is a little bit like your service career, where like you do have camaraderie and you do have like, look, every day might be a little bit different for Andy and I, and that's one of the reasons why we enjoy the trade so much and what we've kind of steered ourselves towards. Every day is a little different, and that's probably a real mystery to you at this point in your life, but that's what makes it so enjoyable to me. So I don't have experience at all like you do, and I've said that 1,000 times already. I quit saying it, but I think the trades are ready for you. There's no doubt about that. Like, what do you think about that, Andy? Like,
I guess I look at it in the sense, you know, so I know in your message, one of the key factors that, you know, you'd pick up is, you know, I'm 40, I'm concerned. Am I too old for this? Right. I'm going to say no. That's just a hard no. There's no reason, you know, that you're too old for that. The work that we're generally doing, right. You know, in some cases, if you were, you know, in a residential crew or something like that, and you're digging undergrounds and doing that kind of thing, I mean, sure, does your life take a tax on your body? And, you know, yeah, sure. I'm sure there's that option there. The majority of what we do is going to be it's labor, you know, and so there's always that factor in there. I will say this though, with the advances of technology and the way that, you know, workplace safety and stuff like that, there's a lot less of that. Hey, I'm going to carry this bathtub up a flight of stairs by myself, you know, or whatever. I mean, that guys that Eric and I worked under, you know, when we started out, it was like, hey, you know, this is how you get a cast iron bathtub upstairs. You stand up inside of it and climb up the stairs.
So ridiculous.
And now you look at it and I'm like, no, we're not doing that. You know, somebody's going to get hurt, you know, and I'm like, oh, well, yeah. Okay.
Well, and these are those outside things that, you know, talking to both of you, talking to people that I know in union. Thankfully, I have a brother that's been doing it for a long time. So I kind of get an aspect from him as well. And because, you know, my question to him, dude, am I too old to do this? Like, am I going to be looked at as, sweet, we're going to have him for a week, or he's probably going to be in a home after 1 week. Well, because most people have been doing this work like him, like you all, like he's a superintendent, like he's not in the dirt no more, for lack of a better word. And and Eric, the attraction is exactly what you're talking about with the program, the apprenticeships, the people. Those are the things specifically for me, but I know a lot like me. That's what we want. That's what we miss. That's what we know we're going to miss. It's not monotony.
You're totally comfortable. Yeah, you're totally comfortable having a plan. Like if it seems monotonous to me, you're like, yeah, I don't.
No, that's what we want. What'd you say? Structure?
Okay.
Yes, please. As much as everybody's like, I want to do what I want to do. No, you don't. You think you do, but you want some sort of structure. You've been doing this too long to not be used to that and not want that.
Well, look, I don't have the experience of being in the military at all, like not even a day of it. And so like that structure, that's what scared me about it as an 18, 19-year-old kid. Like that was like, I don't know if I can handle somebody telling me what to do. Like having that, like that was the unknown, like that was something I thought I didn't want at that time in my life. So opposite, right? But I mean, we're talking about when you're a kid. Right now, like I said a minute ago, like to Andy, the trades are ready for you. And I mean, Andy, you kind of open it up when you at the beginning of the show where you know, hey, we got these people that come to us once in a while and like they bypass these typical training methods and all these things that qualify them to enter our program because they've proven like without question that they're competent and capable. And if they're looking for a job, then the automatic is, come and join us. Right. The thing about like apprenticeship programs is there's not like, there's a little bit unknown. You're going to be placed with other coworkers. They'll soon to be your coworkers that you're not going to know. And I'm sure you have that. That's not a large leap from what you've lived for the last 20 years of your life. You move from one area of the country to the next, or you move to a different base, or you get put with some, different people. Don't get me wrong. Again, I don't understand the world you live in, but like, I know that happens and has happened to you over the years. I doubt very much that one person enters our military here in the U.S. and stays in one place for their entire career and only works with those same people. And that's the trades, right? So like what we enjoy most about our jobs, I said it a minute ago, Andy and I, and so many people like us, is the variety. But what we're talking about is that we're just not literally doing the same thing each day. We're doing the same job. We're still plumbers and HVAC guys and stuff. Like we're still doing that thing each day, but that thing has so much variation to it, which to me is what has kept me interested in it. And it's also allowed me to find things that are more interesting to me than other parts of the job. And so like at this point in my career, I'm at a point where I'm like, I don't want to do that work. I don't want to do this. I want to do this thing. It's because I've had that freedom of just like, trying it all out. And I think going back to the age thing, I wanted to say this, like you said in your message, and I thought it was interesting because I never thought about it as being as important as maybe I read in your message that you said, I take care of myself physically. And think about what you just said, Andy. Like, look, we want qualified people that want to do the job, and time takes a toll on your body. Yeah, of course. And your brother being in management, look, that's just like the progression of any career, right? Like as we have people that are more seasoned, let's say, they have more experience. We as a industry, and this is not unique to the trades at all, we're just going to funnel those people into eventually they're going to be helping us run this industry. Like that's just how it works. And you not having been here for the last 20 years doing it doesn't mean that you're not qualified to start out. And by the way, you're probably going to immediately separate yourself from every other apprentice. I mean, because that's what you'd be, right? You'd be, apprentice to start out. And you'll immediately separate yourself based off of, your attitude and your experience. And you'll probably find, I'm guessing here, I don't know what your immediate jobs have been throughout your career, but like like the physical aspect of it stuff. I'm guessing you're gonna outperform like everybody, like immediately. Like look, this isn't
Yeah.
very hard. I don't think this is a
Yeah.
tough job. And you're right, Andy. Like the jobs have become safer. They've become less. I'm not going to say people aren't out there working hard, because they absolutely are. And the kind of work
Yeah.
I do every day isn't very hard. Like it's just not. And compared to what I used to do when I was a lot younger, doing new construction, stuff like that. But to be honest with you, it like the industry has changed so much. So like those kinds of things, the unknown about the industry is probably not your biggest hurdle to worry about. But I know people that are like business owners, or maybe they're not the employers but employees at large corporations, big, small, little, big shops in the construction industry, and their number one hurdle is finding good people. And I don't ever hear anybody saying we wouldn't hire somebody if they're 25 or if they're 30 or if they're 40. I'm sure that this a consideration. People could come up with a reason why they might not, but on a industry wide, like 10,000 foot view, we need people that want to do the jobs, and our country is relying on people to come in and take these jobs. And if we can get them when they're 18, 19, 20 years old, then fantastic. We're not throwing that model out, but look at.
Well, and that's like what those of us like me wish that we were. It's like, man, like if I could take this drive, this want, this, just everything, and that me and some of my, fellow service members, and it frustrates us when we see those, lack of a better word, kids, younger men, and they don't want to.
Yeah.
It drives us absolutely insane, because we're sitting there wanting to shake them. Like, do you understand what you have and what you can build right now? Like, and to not want to is unfeasible to me.
But you learned that perspective over time, because maybe when you were 19, maybe you would have thought more like the happy-go-lucky young person.
100%, 100%. So we just try to take the experience and pass it on, and try to, because some people may have not gotten woken up to it when I didn't when I was younger. It's how I ended up where I'm at right now. Did the try it out thing a little bit, and it's like, oh, this is going nowhere. And back in 2005, the trades were not being pushed like they are now.
Well, they were,
and that's the other thing that drives us crazy is I wish they were pushed then like they are now.
I think one of the things that we've kind of bumped on, and we haven't really talked about it, as a 40-year-old, we're just talking about, like, well, what did the 19-year-old have over you, right? Like, okay, maybe they're younger, right? The fact of the matter is that, like Eric had mentioned, I don't know, 5-10 minutes ago, is to surround yourself by people that you know more of, right? When you start into your apprenticeship, largely that's exactly what you're going to do, because you already, you guys as service members transitioning out have already been in a very regimented workforce for a long period of time, and you're going to bring that level of experience there. Understanding chain of command, understanding how to follow directions and instructions, and understanding what it means when we don't follow instructions, that a 19-year-old, they don't understand. They don't have any concept of those, those factors. And so I have always said this, when we have brought in guys on the VIP program or through Hard Hats to Helmets, is that they come through and they're already several steps ahead of most of their equals, if you will. Their peers, right?
Yeah.
You're in your first year of your apprenticeship, but you're not in your first year of doing this.
No, you're exactly
right, or being an employee. And so I want, it's important I think for you guys to understand that you do come, even though we don't know how to do, the basic, tasks that we're being trained to do. There's a whole bunch of that all overlaps. And those parts of things are, when I hire a 19-year-old or have a 19-year-old in class, I have to teach that kid how to sit down and shut the hell up.
How to be an adult.
Right.
Right. Yeah.
Like, just calm down, be chill. We're going to work through this. And, I don't need your attitude,
Right.
and that level of it from a 40-year-old, I don't even know you. And I know that, we could probably walk onto a job and I could say, hey, we're going to drill, these 6 holes. I need this and I need that. Let me know when you're done. And I'm probably not going to have to worry about it getting done.
What Andy's saying is he's not going to have to like explain to you why it's important that we do the job that we do and what I need to, why I asked you to do it. I'm not picking on you, that kind of thing. I think that's Andy, you nailed it. We just need to teach you the skills to do the job. You probably already know a lot of it already. Like a lot of this stuff, none of this is magic, right?
No,
but
it's not. It's just a different world. So doing fire suppression, doing a level of plumbing, it's a different world because at least in my brand, we're doing it on a ship.
Right.
So the dynamics of it are different. But there are similarities, and we're even called apprentices when we come in.
Sure.
So we're going through an engineering pipeline that we're going to classes. We're being taught the basics. We're being taught safety. And we're taking that and transitioning out to, our first ship where you are deemed an apprentice until you reach such level. So that was the other attraction to the trades exiting, because it's like, Josh, instead of overthinking this, well, why don't we take things that you enjoyed while you were in? Let's see what this translates to.
Yeah.
And literally going through, as I'm going through helmets to hard hats and exploring all the different unions and learning about how the process works, it's like, wow, okay, I did that, and that. So you're just telling me I'm going to do that again. Except now it's this specialized skill, which is not going away. And that's the eye-opening, thing that I like about it. And then on top of that, the camaraderie with your guys. And I was fortunate enough that I worked in, an engineering, very blue-collar world of a shop. So on a ship, you got different communities of people based on their job.
Yeah.
So all these personalities, and I can say what translates to what I was doing. You're working with we're plumbers, we're firefighters, we're fire suppressionists, and just down and dirty people, not in a bad way. That's exactly what I like to, get down and do. And those kinds of people. And so the attraction of the trades and the unions was just, this is what I want.
That's what's going to separate you. So like you'll go get a job and the boss with any amount of positive outlook on this and any amount of experience under their belt, and they probably have it if they're running the company, is that they don't need to teach you how to be an adult and how to be respectful around their other people on the job site. And they're probably not going to worry about you, your just how you're going to conduct yourself because of your background. And so I think as an employer, that makes you way more attractive as a potential candidate, so that I don't have to worry about all of those things. I just need to teach you how to do the job I need you to do.
Yeah.
And that's so when you hire a 19-year-old, like Andy was saying, you got to teach them how to do the job, and you have to teach that person, male, female, doesn't matter who you are. You're 18, 19 years old. Most people at that age are immature. They have a lot of learning to do, and it has a lot of life learning to do, right? And so that's part of taking on an apprentice. That is part of it. And you're already past that. Like, and even if you weren't in the military, like, look, you're right too. The body, it takes a toll on your body, physicality and stuff like that. But like life also teaches us all those things that make us more employable.
Yeah.
And
and I feel I've always been an advocate of a still body's a dead body, and I was like, that's what it looks like if I see somebody in an office at a cubicle for however many. I was like, that looks awful. I want nothing to do with that. You tell me I got to stare at that?
Yeah.
That's not the world to want to be in, and there was just so much that spoke with this. So, navigating helmets to hard hats, honestly, the technology, it's like you hit a button and it says, okay, you applied. Well, being as anxious and fidgety as I am, I was like, no, that's not enough. So
Right.
instead,
What's
I
next?
decided to
Yeah.
download the application, print it off, and went to the union hall face to face.
Yep.
And I'm like, no, I'm a guy that wants to be knee to knee with somebody.
Right.
So that is the way that I view it. And honestly, from other people that I've talked to that do it as well, they're going to appreciate that. They will appreciate that you will do that.
There's a big level of that, about reaching out. I'm in the process right now of interviewing a couple of new technicians, and one of the things that I've found that there's a couple of guys that I've got that I'm hoping we can make something happen,
Mm-hmm.
and the two of them that are really standing out right now are those two that are forthcoming. Like, hey, let's do this. How do we make this happen? And that's good. So, I mean, so Josh, you mentioned hard hats to helmets. There's two primary. I'm sure there are many out there, or several out there, maybe not many, but there are two primary programs out there. There's the hard hats to helmets and the UA veterans and piping, which is VIP.
Mm-hmm.
The primary, there's a couple of differential things there. And prior to your message and me really digging into this to figure out, like, well, what I don't know, I thought these actually were the same, and they're not.
No.
The hard hats to helmets, just for anybody else that's out there that's looking, there's
it's helmets to hard hats. I don't know if it matters, but it's helmets to hard hats.
You're right.
I think it just.
I was like, he's comfortable with it. I'm gonna let him keep it going.
Well, it rolls off the tongue. It's I'm not trying to. Yeah, sorry.
It's not the military recruiting from the trades.
Yeah,
okay.
Well, they probably are trying to figure that out too. Like, how can we just get people that want to come do this job?
Yeah, same. So, I mean, that one is, correct me if I'm wrong, Josh, is primarily post-deployment, correct? You've transitioned out or post-retirement.
Right.
Or I guess it can be either way, but it does allow you to enter the program after retirement.
Yes.
The VIP program is while you are still in.
Yeah.
Or still active duty within the last 6 to 12 months of service, is the notes that I've got on it.
Yes.
VIP also caters directly just to the United Association, plumbers, pipe fitters, steam fitters, that level of it. Whereas helmets to hard hats is all union trades. So you could be electricians, carpenters, brick mason, iron workers, they'll help placement on all of those. You've obviously looked into the VIP program. You've done the application on the hard hats or helmets to hard hats. What's your feeling on the, being able to utilize the VIP program?
So the unfortunate thing with the VIP program is that they are it's about timing. It is all about timing because they have specific class dates throughout the year. And based on your transition and your command, if they don't want to let that happen, which unfortunately that has been the case, because they're like, well, these dates are 220 days before you're out. Yeah, but by the time I can't get into the next one, because by the time I do, I won't be finished with it before I'm out. Right. So unfortunately with VIP, it is and it's what all of us hate more than anything that are retiring is it's all about timing. And it's like, as many times as I've heard that, so you're telling me something that is out of my control is going to determine what I get to do. Yeah. And so that's why helmets to hard hats became so important to me, to learn the inside and out and what to do and what to find. And that's been more my path.
Yep.
Because unfortunately, the next class is not going to be, it starts up and I'm 90 days from being done.
Right.
And
so that
they won't
program is 100.
They won't let that overlap.
Yeah. And, so for anybody out there that's not familiar with it, the VIP program essentially takes an active duty member and relocates them to a base. Was there 9 or 10 bases around the U.S.?
Yeah, it's something like that. And each one has its own specialty. They do not all teach every single pipe trade. So specifically where I'm at in Norfolk, it is HVAC. And when I looked into the fire suppression one, that's in Kentucky. And then the other avenue that you're dealing with, you have to get more approval to leave the area in which you are stationed at. So that becomes another of the 27 burning hoops you got to jump through.
Yeah. So you're good at what you do, and they don't want you to be somewhere else.
Right.
Well, they're expecting you to be employable. They have you until an end date. Like,
right.
That's, that's just like saying, for civilians to say, I work for you until further notice, like the boss expects you to be available.
Yeah.
Real quick for anybody, we just haven't mentioned it. We keep saying helmets to hard hats. If you want to look this up, it's helmets to hard hats, the spelled out TO hardhats.org. And then there's a website for the United Association. That's a union organization for the pipe trades nationwide, North America, Canada, and the U.S. And their website for the UAVIP program, it stands for Veterans in Piping, and that's UAVIP.org. Sorry, I just want to put that in there so we don't forget.
Well, and thankfully, what is starting to happen, more and more programs are becoming available for trades. And so they're trying to bridge that gap in between. They're like, okay, we got helmets to hard hats, we got VIP. What else? And it's companies like Home Depot and Lowe's that are developing trade programs to further help people and expand upon, just limited trades. One of the ones that I've seen is called the Home Builders Institute. So now we got piping. Well, now we also got a program for carpentry and electrical as well. And then Lowe's does something of the same that they just launched as well.
You know what attracts me the most about somebody coming out of the military to be into the trades, like the skilled trades, like plumbing, electrical, HVAC, there's others, but those are the main ones on top of my head, is that you guys understand the value and the importance of rules, right?
Yeah,
like
very much.
More than probably anybody else in our society.
Yeah.
And the thing about the trades is there are rules to follow, and for very specific reasons in some cases, and in other cases they may seem arbitrary, but they're important as well. Because we know that when we don't follow them, there's things like, science gets in the way and says, well, you're supposed to do it that way. You didn't, and here's why you were supposed to do it that way. The really cool thing about the trades too is, like, when you look at it from construction or from service, there's very much it's kind of like math, right? There's like usually one or two right answers. There's one way to get to the answer, and then there's another way, but the solution to the problem might look very similar from different perspectives. And so it's a lot of like black and white, put it that way. That's what I also really like. And I'm sure that I don't think it'd be a stretch to say people coming from your position wouldn't be comfortable with that either. It's like, I like that I think blueprints are some of the most beautiful art in the world, because it's like, if you do it this way, this is how it works. If you venture off from that, then now we may end up with the end result that's not what we're looking for. And so I think that you fit right in automatically. You understand that we just have to do it this way. And if we keep doing it this way, we'll get better at it. We'll get faster at it. Like, I'm trying to say things that might comfort you to think like, look, I don't know that it's a really big stretch for you to doing the work. I don't know, man.
Well,
like, there's a lot of people.
This is the reason for wanting to hear from, the pros that are doing it, is when you can relate these things that we have actually seen. It's like everybody can walk away feeling, I know I'm the one on with you, but anybody else that's listening that's in this position, you can look and see, no, you can actually fit and roll right into this. It's okay, and you're gonna be okay. But I will say the biggest part that I tell friends of mine and anybody else that is wanting to do this, you got to surround yourself with people that are supportive of this side, because I can tell you a lot of the negativity that I've gotten as well. The why would you want to do that? Or you don't need to be doing that. You did 20 years of this. And to people that have that response to us about it, did you ever think about what we want? Like, what do you mean that's not what I want? How do you know that that's not what I want? And these little aspects that you talk about within the union, within the trades, working the camaraderie, the hands-on, the doing the job, the building relationships, building this country we live in. What do you mean I don't want to do that? Why would I not want to do that? I think it's crazy that people don't want to do that.
Well, that's what we like. I mean,
yeah,
it's been a lot of years for me since I worked for a company and I was around other people doing the same thing, co-workers, put it that way. I work alone now. It's boring as hell. It's like I still like the idea that I got to go work with Andy on one of his job sites was so exciting to me. On like this, something that maybe nobody else was thinking about, but like there was going to be other plumbers that I was going to get to hang out with. Like, it was like that was our job is our job. Like it's neither enjoyable or not enjoyable, right? It's just at this point in our lives, we've been doing it for so long, and probably you too with what you're doing. Like, it's just what we do. Yeah. And, there are days that we like what we do, and there are days that suck, and that's like to every job. Luckily, there's more things we like about our job. But it's being around people. Don't get me wrong, like, look, you're not going to go out into the civilian world and get one of these, get a job working for a company in the trades and like suddenly open your eyes to the idea that there's all kinds of jerks out there. And then there's also all kinds of great people, because guess what? They exist where you're at too, right? Yep. It's not going to be any different. You're just going to have to realize that you're probably better than them at their job. They just, the guys that are jerks now, they feel threatened, that kind of thing.
So,
take that as words of encouragement.
It's huge. Like, it is huge. So, and as far as the programs go, like the discouragement was, for me, I love the VIP. I think it's great. I mean, I literally mapped everything out in my house about how this is going to go, how this is going to line up. And then to be told, hey, we're sorry. It's not because we want to do this to you, but based on the black and white that we talk about and rules, it doesn't work out. So that added kind of another level of worry. Like, is this somebody's way of telling me that, sorry, this just isn't going to be you? Which I just refused to say. I was like, no. There's so many different avenues into this that no, one little derail is not gonna end this. And so I just want to get the perspective, like Andy, or if you are getting somebody from the military and they don't go through VIP, like, it's still a very welcoming path.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, our aspect, sitting on that JATC committee and looking at the applications that come through, I can say that the entire board there, we look at, things like if somebody posts in there and says, hey, I've got 20 years in the Navy, but they don't have any other work history, I don't have any reservation about that at all. Right. Like, I don't look at that resume and go, oh boy, I wish I had somebody I could call to see if they're a, credible person. I'm like, dude, you just spent 20 years doing something that you maybe didn't exactly want to do, but you know what? You did. And, I mean, that to me, I think there's, definitely an honorable, association with that. So I would say, again, to kind of mimic what Eric's saying is I would encourage all of you, your peers to go out and do that. If the trades are where you want to go, I mean, and for whatever reason, if you're not getting the information and the questions answered through the 2 programs we talked about, go out. I mean, if plumbing is what you're looking for, go, find a plumbing shop local to you and just make a phone call and say, hey, I have some questions about what this looks like. Can I come talk to somebody about it? Most of those offices are going to have somebody that's either there, especially if they're a big company, they're going to have a recruiter. They're going to have somebody that's in HR or somebody that's, maybe it's the business owner in my case or in Eric's case, where that person might say, you're totally fine for it, and if you don't like what you hear, I'd go find another one.
And I'll tell you what,
because you're going to find
what's missing at these recruiting. So they do a lot of great transition things for us and try to give us as many resources as they can. But I can genuinely say when I've been to 12 career fairs, hiring events and whatnot, I can tell you what's missing is you all. It is you all. It is very specific and very just not this world. And it's almost discouraging, like
Right.
walking in, hey, where's Russell's heating and cooling? Like, where are these guys? These are the guys I want to see. And
Right.
I believe it'll get there, even though and so it's doing exactly what you said. Hey, won't you do the opposite? Won't you go to that place? And, just like what I did with the local 110 application I had. Hey, there's an address. Let me go check this out.
Yep. Yeah, there's somebody sitting there.
And
ready
it
to
was some
answer
of the best
questions.
feedback I could have ever hoped for.
So, Josh, how married are you to living in the North Carolina area?
I'm not.
What do you think of when you hear 40 below zero for like 15 days at a time in the worst possible conditions? I mean, those would be the worst in I don't know, I'm thinking like Minnesota.
Yeah.
What
So I thought
I'm not offering
I told Andy beforehand, I'm an Ohio guy originally.
Oh, so you know
Oh
winter.
yeah, I know
what
winter.
it's like to have 4
Yep.
seasons and
Had to spend 4 years in Chicago during my time. And honestly, I mean, believe it or not, that's when the whole trade thing got opened because again, Ohio, Minnesota over to Montana, that is the strength, like what seems to be, the United Association and unions and everybody else. And so that's where I started diving in because when I was up there, I was 4 years from this point right here. So wanted to start getting the wheels turning. And I can tell you, being married to being down here is not a thing for me. I do not like my windows sweating because of humidity. I despise it. My wife, unfortunately, I'm pretty sure she's an iguana. I was like this.
Yeah, she's living her
Oh
best
my
life in
God.
the warm weather.
Summertime, she's so happy. Wintertime is when I'm happy.
Well, the cool thing is
I'm
about the
saying.
trades is that you have that hurdle in to probably one extreme to the other, no matter what trade it is, right? So it's if you live in Texas, southern Texas, and it's hot,
Yeah.
it's crappy. It doesn't matter what trade you're doing, right? Like literally, it's like very hard.
Yeah.
And you go to Minnesota, and it's not hot. It might be brutally cold in the wintertime, but it doesn't matter what job you're doing, where you're at. Like the job is the job.
Yeah.
It's just like where you're at is how it kind of affects it the most, I think.
Yep. So, we're coming up on an hour here,
Yeah.
and I know Eric's got to get to a job. Josh, I'm sure you're in the same boat. What's the next step for you? Where are you at?
In my transition right now, so being 6 months out, turn in my application. I'm still in the phase of I'm literally going pipe shop to pipe shop, HVAC to HVAC shop, I'm literally doing what we talked about and talking with people, getting outlooks, turning in, I think I've turned in 27 resumes now.
Oh my
And
gosh.
well, I did it because I said the more the merrier. I was like,
Yeah.
having loads of opportunities is better than none.
I don't know. Are you going to have to make a decision on 27 different job offers, or at least I bet you out of those you'll get more than a handful.
And I'm finding each month that passes, more and more are coming back because you're hitting that proverbial sweet spot for hiring.
Yep.
And so the next step for me is literally taking each one of those and breaking down the whys and what's checking and
Yep.
where do you see yourself, and based on the information you've gotten from sitting knee to knee with people and understanding, these next steps.
Yep.
So that's the step that I'm in right now. Friends of mine are in the step of they had to nail it down. They're in the step of nailing it down to 3. And, just got done with he just got done with the VIP program, and he was like, it's crazy. He was like 30 days into it. We start getting companies calling. And it's like, you're getting to the point. My rubber's not quite at the road. His is on the road going 60 right now. So I'm doing what I can to get that research so that when my wheel hits, it's full speed ahead.
moving.
But at this point, this stage right now for me, it's rubbing those elbows, talking to all those people, and understanding what it is that I'm getting into, and getting the feel. And thankfully, I've been able to get the feel for the shops, for the people, what the job outlook is looking like. And so right now, everything in this phase right now for me is preparation. And what's next is nailing that down and knowing what direction exactly we're going with what company. It's not a question of whether or not we're doing trades anymore. I was past that when I sent you the message.
You're gonna. I don't think I'm going on a limb here. I think somebody's listening to this that is in a position to hire people and stuff. I bet you they're listening to you speak. Like what you just said is making me think like, man, you're gonna have a harder time deciding where you go to work than you are finding a job.
Yeah,
Does that make sense? Like, I think you already found a job. You just don't know it yet. Like, this is what I'm thinking. I think it's because the industry is just in dire need of people. And I'm not saying that like, oh, they'll take anybody. That's not true. It's just like, when you asked, am I too old for this? I didn't think you were. And now after having talked to you, I think like, man, your age and experience is what makes you more employable.
Right.
For sure. Like,
I appreciate that. And literally, both of your outlook on that for me and others that I know and anybody that this helps is exactly what I want to do.
Yeah. Well, I can't tell you how much I appreciate you coming on and being candid about it.
Yeah.
And kind of sharing some of your, the personal side of it. Because it isn't something I ever had any idea about. So, I would like, as you're moving forward, keep us in the loop.
100%.
When you make that choice, maybe we need to have you back on again and have a couple of conversations as you go for the next couple of years and see where you go.
Oh, I don't even want to wait that long for the next time. I was thinking the same thing, Andy. Honestly, like like we should do a couple more talks like this, and I'd love to hear even before it happens, or maybe when you make that decision.
100%. Yeah, 100%.
And just get your perspective.
I would love to,
it's
and
really cool.
you all's outlook and perspective and talks, I can't wait. And honestly, maybe the next time we do this, you see me, I'm dressed like you. And I can tell you, hey, I am now here.
Heck yeah.
That's right.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
And it's something that I look forward to. And believe it or not, you have no idea how much somebody like me and others, this sounds like a very simple thing, but it's not for us. the ability to be able to put on a t-shirt, hat, and jeans and go to work is so inviting to us that we jump at the chance.
We got it made, Andy. We really do. Like, no, we know that though a little bit.
Yeah.
He and I, honestly, I think it took a lot of years just to understand like just how we talk about like how we like what we do and stuff. That's why we like it. It's because we can just do like we don't have
and people like you too that are successful, like what you do, killing it in this world, don't have to get in front of the microphones and do this, but thank God that you do.
Right.
Please know.
Thanks, man.
I mean, being able to have somebody to reach out to with such a platform in this industry, it's probably my favorite thing about technology and social media that's come along. I was like, with all the stupid things that come along, there are some great things that come along, and you two are one of those. So
thanks, man.
I appreciate
Josh,
reaching back out to me, especially as quickly as you did. Caught me off guard. I was like, oh, like I did not. I saw the blue check mark next to his name on Instagram. I was like, I don't know, but we're going to try. So thank you again. Thank you both for reaching out, being so kind, and definitely taking the time to listen to me and sharing your perspectives. It's going to help a lot.
Absolutely.
I can't wait for somebody to hear this. It's going to have to go up before the others in the lineup, Andy. We are going to wrap it. We're over an hour. The best conversations on this podcast have come when they get a little bit long. You know, it gives us time to really just talk about random stuff as we have today. Like it just, you know, the thoughts.
It doesn't even feel like it's been an hour.
Fun to me.
Like it just flew.
No.
Well, I told you it wouldn't be that. Don't be nervous. Because
I was like, I mean, the only thing missing from a normal conversation, I was like, a fire pit and a beer right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you, Andy, too, for reaching out to Josh and getting it all set up.
Yeah.
You guys, we got to go. And if I know tons of people are still listening right now, I'm going to remind you again, reach out to us in one way or another. There's so many ways to do it. There's a link in the description of the podcast app you're watching or listening on, and you can message us over at Instagram and like Josh did, and you can do email, maketradesgreatagain@gmail.com. Thanks, guys. I'm going to hit end right now.